director of the Oregon Screams Horror Film Festival, which is going to be screening October 22nd at the Sunshine Mill Winery and Drive-In Theater at the Dalles. Today with me is screenwriter Glenn Lissner. Hey, Glenn, thanks for coming on.
Hey, that was really smooth. That
Thank you. It's the first one of the day, maybe a little hiccup, but so you are the writer of In Between. Can you
yes.
please tell me a little bit about what that's about?
The main character is a college student, and like a lot of college students, he's pretty broke. He needs money for tuition, and he decides to go and do like a medical study to get some extra money to help with his tuition. And once he gets to be a part of the study, uh, things do not go exactly the way he had hoped.
Okay, I like that. That has piqued my interest, and I can tell from the from the cover there that something paranormal, something monstrous could potentially occur to this person. I want to know, what was your inspiration behind this screenplay?
Part of it was my own sleep paralysis, and I don't know if you've had that or you know anybody that's had that.
I've had
Uh,
that. It's terrifying.
Especially when you don't know what it is. And
Hmm.
I had it a couple times. The first time I had it, I had no idea what was happening, and it was terrifying. Like I felt like I was in my own horror movie because
Yeah.
you can't move, you can't speak, and I got a feeling there was like an evil presence in the room. It was absolutely terrifying. So having gone through that, and knowing that other people had that as well, that was a big piece of the inspiration. And the other part, the college part, was I too was a broke college student at some point in time decades ago. But I do know that there's obviously a huge amount of trouble now with all the student loans and things like that. So I imagine there are also a lot of college kids that are broke and then trying to make ends meet and try and get a few extra bucks. So that's how the two things came together: the sleep paralysis and the broke college student.
Nice. Well, it seems like a pretty good synthesis of some relatable conditions. I will state that I had tons of sleep paralysis, especially when I was in college. Those long nights tend to get that to you. What's it like trying to describe that? I mean, you've had it. It's such a visceral experience. What was it like trying to capture that and put it into a horror script?
Well, I was hoping that somebody other than myself had actually experienced it, so they could sort of find it to be relatable. But yeah, it was tough. I tried to had the character sort of relive one aspect of it and try to sort of flesh it out in a little bit of a horror kind of a way. So I it's tough because you're talking about like this again, this in between state
Right.
where you're in between sleep and being awake, and so it is kind of hard to describe because it feels like you should be in a dream, but you notice that everything around you is the way it is. So most dreams that I've had, something's off. You know,
Mhm.
people aren't quite the same, or the house isn't quite the same. But with this, everything's the same. You're in your room, you're in your bed, everything in your room
Right.
is exactly the same. And so it's like you should be in a dream, but you're not. And so trying to convey that sort of that horror, this sort of paralysis. I mean, I like to think I pulled it off, but
Totally.
it's kind of tough.
Well, do you have any plans to put this into a filmed version?
Well, if anybody would like to buy in between, no, I would love to. I think it would make for a really, really fun project. I've written 5 horror shorts. This was the last one I wrote just a few months ago, and I feel like it's one of the stronger ones. I think it'd be a lot of fun to put together. I don't necessarily have all that capital to do it because I feel like there was maybe some special effects in there that would to make it really creepy. But no, I'd love to see it be made. That would be amazing.
Totally. That begs the question. I have a very specific picture of the sleep paralysis horrors, and I know you do too. What kind of aesthetic or look would you have in mind for this? Do you write with that kind of final product in mind?
A little bit, not nearly enough.
Hmm.
I say this because the first horror script I wrote is called Closet Space about 2.5 years ago, and I wrote it specifically so it would be easy to do, or at least I thought it would be easy to
Right.
do. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to have 2 locations, 4 actors, limited special effects, and then we recently wrapped shooting that last month, and it was much more difficult than I thought. And I thought I had really written it so it'd be okay and easy. So yeah, sometimes I do keep that in mind. This one, most of that was in mind, but I was trying to have an image of something that was horrific in the room with the person having sleep paralysis. And I just feel like there's going to be some special effects to kind of maybe pull that off. So I didn't adhere to it completely. I sort of went, just all the way out to just make it look all creepy. But I'm not sure how to really pull that off without special effects.
Totally. Well, I could imagine it being pretty dang awesome with a full kind of sleep paralysis moment captured in special effects. Truly terrifying. I want to know, did you learn anything from this writing experience? You've obviously written 5 scripts. This might be. You said this was you felt like your most fleshed out one. What did you learn from this process?
I It didn't need to be long.
Hmm.
I mean, sometimes the shorts you have like 30 pages or something like that, and this one felt like I could maybe do it in shorter. Maybe less is more for me within this one. I'm not saying that's true for all scripts, but I found out that this was the shortest one that I wrote, and it was okay. Like I didn't feel like I had to force things in there. That it felt complete when it was complete. And I didn't feel like I needed to have a bunch of sidebars or you know tons of secondary, tertiary characters and things like that. It just, it kept it nice and streamlined.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's great advice. It's nice to have a touch of brevity or a touch of focus, in the script.
Yes.
So, is there anything else you'd like to say about in between? I'm gonna put the cover back up.
Gosh, like I probably covered most of it. I really do hope that when people read it, that it is a very quick, fun, and creepy read. That they can sort of in their own mind, sort of picture what it would be like to have that condition, and how horrible it is. Now, again, it goes for a very sort of sci-fi twist. You
Hmm.
know, once the character is in the study, and they sort of prey upon the fact that he has sleep paralysis, but that's not really what they're there to work on with him. So I don't want to give away the whole thing, but so hopefully, if anybody were to read it, that they would get some joy out of it, some hard joy.
Well, awesome. Thank you so much for coming on, Glenn. It's been very nice talking to you.
Oh yes, I feel like I completely overdressed for the occasion. I didn't realize there was a video.
Oh yes. Well, hey, it's as you're looking sharp, man. It's all good.
Got my finest T-shirt.
There you go.
No, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks. Have a great rest of your day.
All right, you too.